I think that's our intro jingle
guess,
now.
yeah.
That's it.
If it's royalty free, yeah.
Welcome to the Blinks live stream,
Yeah.
everybody.
Like, we'll see. It's probably in the background. Welcome back, everybody. It's Dan and John again with another sort of Blinks conversation, lunchtime sort of live stream.
Yeah.
We are here in our new in-process inventory and shipment area. We're working on it. It's not totally ready yet. If you're one of our Kickstarter backers, you've probably heard some news about all these developments. But I thought that while we were surrounded by all the Blinks games that we ship out, that we have published, here's the new game system, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about a game that we never made. I think we don't talk about that a lot. We focus on the stuff we did make, and I think that's great because people should see the games they can play. But I think some people might be interested in like our design process, and part of a design process is rejecting ideas or failing. So we're going to talk about a game that's not even a whole game that we worked on, play tested, coded, and decided not to move forward with.
I thought you told me that you like all my ideas, Dan, and that we should publish everything.
Yeah, well, this one, I mean, before we get into it, this video is not somehow an indication that we'll never make this game, just that we haven't yet. This is something that I coded, I really thought was a good idea, and I still think it's a good idea, but
It's just not there yet.
it's just not there yet. And at the time, I think we were in the process of making the community set, and we had such amazing submissions that the answer was like, let's not waste time struggling to make this work when we've got too many community games to choose from. So we went with 6 community games. I stopped worrying about this, and it's been on my GitHub dormant ever since. So this game doesn't really have a name. I had 2 potential names. One was on-off, and if you remember the old Tiger Electronics games,
Yeah.
this may look familiar to you. It's a very simple game. Press a button, and it and all of its neighbors change state from on to off, from off to on, and so on and so forth. And that's it.
Got it. I mean, that already looks pretty complex.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you touch a piece, it turns on. It switches.
It switches states, and all of its neighbors switch states.
Cool.
So in this case, does that.
And in the Tiger game, the goal was maybe all the lights start on, and you take turns, and you have to eventually get them all
There's
off.
no turns. The original game idea is a single player puzzle.
Okay.
So it boots up with a certain amount of them on, and you have to turn them all off.
Got it.
That's all you have to do. So, we went ahead and programmed that basic interaction, that you can click a thing. Now, in the original game, it's squares. And I will say, from having played that game and solved a lot of video game puzzles that are essentially just that, the square one's really easy to solve. Super easy to solve, like, no matter what. Suddenly, put on hexagons, it's not so
a little
easy.
trickier.
Like, go ahead, John. I'll move over. Try to solve that.
So this is solvable.
Well, yeah, I arrived at that from them all being off.
Off, okay.
So theoretically, you should be able to reverse this until they're all off.
Okay, so I'm going to work in here. Let's see. I'm going to work my way to the right. It seems... Okay, if I go here, then I'll be up in that triangle. I'm going to work my way down. That'll...
Yeah.
Okay.
Put you in a weird position.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Here we go. I'm down to... Okay. Let's see. This feels like I'm getting somewhere. That's going to split 2 here. And then maybe I can... This. I feel like there's got to be something about this symmetry that...
I mean, you are correct. Symmetry does seem to be a valuable tool in this game. I mean, honestly, I'll give it to you if you can get them all on or all off.
Yeah, this is... Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. Adidas, don't sue. Let's see. Here we go. I'm going to work this way. Okay. That'll take out this whole portion. I'll be left
You'll
with
hit
just
two
those
corners.
two.
But you've had just two before.
I know. Okay.
So while John's doing this, this is what we sort of did, and we have some old footage that, if I'm able to find it, it will be playing right now. If not, we're just going to watch John do this. We built this, and we built this basic functionality, and we tried it on a bunch of different amounts of blinks, about 10 blinks or 12 blinks or 6 blinks or whatever, and we it's just so not quite there.
So close.
And we just found that one of two things happened. It was either impossibly difficult or casually, meaninglessly easy. And this was a balancing problem. Yeah, it's just gonna keep happening. This was a problem we were having with this game, but we thought, it's still a good idea, and it's fun to do. Like, it feels good on the brain to try and solve this puzzle. It's just that, it's like this.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I don't know if, maybe I'm also not seeing this. Recently I've been playing with a Rubik's Cube, and, Jamie handed me one, and I started to kind of just go by feel. I was like, okay, I can lock this thing in over here, and then bring it back up and swap. And
Just realized while you were telling that story, I solved it.
No, you gotta be kidding me.
I just saw it, and I just solved
Did you?
it. Yeah,
So-
it's on video.
Oh, so good, so good.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just
something, but the issue we had also was that there was just no puzzle design. It was put a bunch of blinks out and tap them, and we couldn't control difficulty, we couldn't give people a beginner experience, we couldn't even give them any kind of recommended experience. It was put some blinks out. For instance, now that they're all off, you can notice that, for instance, if you just follow set, predictable, symmetrical patterns, you can pretty much casually do it. As long as what you're doing has sort of rotational symmetry, you pretty much always end up at a solvable point. And that's the problem. And so we had a lot of problems. So I had a really weird idea. I'll say this, I pretty much did this independently. Nobody asked me to do this. And the code, I made it and tested it, but it is not good. So we're going to boot it up right now, and it's probably going to be buggy. So you're all going to have to take my word for what it's supposed to look like. But I had this idea. I'll switch over to here. I had this idea with this game. John and I, for a while, had been talking about adding things to Blink's games.
Well, you came in and you said, well, I like making narrative games.
Right, and a lot of people say that. People say it on the forum, people say it when we meet them at conventions. It's a thing people want, and it's something we also want. And so I had this idea that you could make, and part of this is also inspired by the Pirates and Lasers team.
Oh, no way.
They talked about making, Ian talks about it, making chess puzzles for Pirates and Lasers, a puzzle where he has built it and tested it and knows the theoretical best score, and then just posits it. Here, try this Pirates and Lasers puzzle, try to get a 6.
Right.
Or whatever. Actually, 6 is a very low score for Pirates and Lasers. Try to last 8 rounds, 9 rounds. And I liked this idea of providing people a specific challenge. I thought this is a place where you could do a storybook. So I had this idea for a game, and it's actually why the install is on this Blink that I have written LJ on, which is Light's Journey, which is the name of the game I was going to pitch when I thought this would work. It was going to be called Light's Journey.
I'm not going to lie, Light's Journey sounds pretty rad.
Yeah, it was...
You had me at Light's Journey.
But the idea is that you would have a book, probably a PDF or potentially a printed book that we send with whatever set this comes in. And it would have a set of puzzles inside of it. And each puzzle is an arrangement of blinks that all begin off, right? But the trick with Light's Journey was that they all had colors. So I made 4 colors. Red, this is yellow, green, and I made blue, but I'll just tell you right now the blue code doesn't work. So just ignore the blue code, it's just spinning by itself. We're going to not use blue. But the idea is that there are all the colors, red, yellow, green, blue, and then white, which is sort of the default. And you would build a puzzle. So for instance, let's say I wanted to make a puzzle called The Flower. And in the storybook, your hero, or whoever sort of the book is about, encounters a field of flowers, for instance. And I'm going to make a flower out of some yellow and some white. Yeah, that's fine. Do yellow like that. And then I'll make some green edges. And I'll add another white one on here for flavor. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So maybe this is a puzzle, and it's called the Field of Flowers, right? And you need to get this. You need to get all the lights on. And by doing so, you've solved that puzzle, you moved through that part of the storybook, and you could flip to the next page. And this is how I would do like a narrative Blinks puzzle game. Seemed like a great idea. And so the way these all work is that the colorful Blinks, red, yellow, green, and the blue that doesn't work, they don't do what the white ones do, which is just flip the state of all neighbors. You know, these act the way you'd imagine. What the colorful
flip them all
ones
on.
do,
They look so, it looks so nice.
I can't quite flip them all on. If I could flip them all on, this would have been a good idea.
That's right.
What they do instead is they have a pattern. So for green, it is this spray. So you can see on a green blink, there's 3 green and 3 white. The white is what turns on and turns off. So it turns on 2 in all 3 of these directions.
Okay, so you still end up turning on a maximum of 6.
Yes. But
2
2
in
out
each
and 3.
direction.
The red is the same, except it's an explosion. It's 3 directions like this. It flips in a Y.
Okay.
And then yellow does only 2 directions. It's sort of the lightning piece, but it'll go 3 out.
So still, once again, it can turn
6.
a maximum of 6 on or off.
Right.
And it just goes like,
Yep.
I think of it like Guile throws a...
Yeah. Yellow is sort of like a line in both directions. Red is an explosion, and green is kind of like, I think of it as a bloom, like a sprout.
Cool.
And then white continues to just be what white was in the other version of the game. And then you play the game as expected. You try to turn on everything in the puzzle. And my thought was, well, if we can design it... oh, I did it. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, cool. There it is.
Yeah.
That's 2 for 2, Dan.
Yeah, I should make more videos about bad ideas, and I'll suddenly find that they're good ideas. And I had a blue one, and the blue one was tricky. It only affected one face, but every time you clicked it or it changed state, that face rotated.
Okay.
And so the idea is that you would look at the puzzle book, you would set the puzzle up as directed, and it would include the orientation. The greens need to be oriented like this, the red oriented like this, the yellow like this. And you would solve these puzzles, and then we would be able to... We or potentially members of the community who really like this game could make their own puzzles. Hey, here's a puzzle that's really hard. It's 5 reds, 3 yellows, and 6 whites. And you put them like this, and then I dare you to solve this one.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's Blink's Light Journey is like the Mario Maker.
Yeah, that was sort of kind of the hope. I think I've probably lost it now. Oh no. I've put myself in a bad situation. Yeah, so this is the idea with Light's Journey and on-off. And there's a lot of reasons this didn't get made. And I think part of it is very positive, which is that when we were making the community set, there was just too many good ideas. And there was really no need at the time for Move 38 to make a game, in that sense. When we sought to make the community set, we didn't know what would happen. We thought, well, there's a chance there might be 5 good games. So maybe we should have one in reserve. And that turned out to be so false that Move 38, like proper, has not made a game since.
Well, we haven't made any games that we haven't published.
We haven't published any games. Sorry, we haven't published any games. We've been making stuff, but yeah, what I mean is that our community stepped up in a way that we wanted them to and hoped they would. But something like this represented our small insurance policy. If we couldn't find what we wanted, we didn't end up needing it. And then the fact that the blue doesn't work is because there was no reason for me to invest time fixing a bug in a game we weren't gonna. But for some reason, the blue is spinning by itself, which I don't recall that being the intended behavior. That makes it impossible.
Makes it
impossible
much more
to be predictive. Yeah,
that's right.
Makes it a much worse puzzle.
Now all of a sudden it's a rhythm game.
Let's see if I can actually. Does it even do what it's supposed to? No, it doesn't even.
It's just a cute.
It's just a. No, it doesn't do anything.
You can just turn it on or off, and it's like I'm gonna point in different directions.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I wanted to talk about this. It's one of those things that we'd never have an opportunity to show this to people because why? But I think it's important for people to see the kind of stuff that exists. Also, again, open source. If you're watching this and you're like, oh, you're doing it wrong. I know how to do this. Please do this better. Like, please fix this. Please make this good, and then you can like be the designer, and we'll publish it in your name. Because like, I really want to do this. I didn't crack the code when I was working on it, but you might.
Oh, if somebody else wants to run with the idea.
Yeah. And we've seen that before. Actually, one of the games that was made at the Game Jam this year, which was really good, started from a piece of code that we had written during a live stream. Something that was was a pretty small little thing. It was like more of a functionality than a game.
Uh-huh.
And they expanded on it into a full, really interesting game.
And I feel like it's neat to see. I feel like we do lots of these in the office where it's like, here's a mechanic or something. It's kind of answers a what if, and then the game of it actually, like, the game you see in it is different than the game I see in it is different from the game somebody else sees in it.
Right. But yeah, I like this idea, and I think when you do.
Oh, that's gonna be it.
Yeah. When you when you work on games, especially like we do, where it's multiple games, not like one big game. Sometimes you have ideas that you don't follow through on for one reason or another because it doesn't seem right for the moment. And this is maybe my favorite unmade game because there are others, but this is the only one I wanted to make a video about.
In design school, I was always told to kill my babies. It's the worst way to say it.
Yeah.
I think there's value to that. It's okay. Some stuff you gotta throw away.
Yeah. This didn't have it.
Others.
This didn't have it. This wasn't what we needed at the time, and isn't necessarily what we need right now, but might be what we need in 2 months or 6 months or a year. We might I wake up and go, I got it. I know how to fix this game, and you could see this game on a blink at some point, just not right now.
I'm excited to see what the community wants from the games, and I think we had a really great puzzle game already. And I think the community said, we want more strategy. Yeah. And then, our latest game pack is all strategy.
Right, yeah.
And so maybe there's a puzzle pack in the future.
Yeah, I would love that. And then I'd love to be able to write like a little storybook for this. 'Cause I think that was part of the idea that I liked, was like that extra component, that deck of cards, the book, putting like a meeple on top. I like that idea of adding like Blinks Plus, so.
And I like things that you can actually hold and, so I think it's nice that we're doing more stickers and elements that you can actually live in the real world. And so I think that having games that do more of that is right on par.
Well, yeah, so I hope everyone enjoyed this inside look at the cutting room floor of Move 38. And if this is interesting, let us know in the comments, and maybe we'll bring you some more game ideas from the vault.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks
Dan.
again.
See you next week.